everyone, and welcome to Gugak Breeze. I'm Lily, and today we have a very special guest joining us. She's an incredible musician who beautifully bridges traditional and modern music through the sounds of the Daegeum, the Korean bamboo flute. Please welcome Dasom Baek. Hi Dasom, thank you so much for joining us today.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Before we dive into your music, could you introduce yourself to our listeners?
Hi, Dasom Baek, a composer and performer of traditional Korean instruments, mainly Daegeum and Sogeum. I create contemporary and experimental works rooted in Korean traditional music,
Mm-hmm.
blending traditional instruments with electronic and ambient sounds. I've released two solo albums and
Mm-hmm.
several collaborative albums and performed at international festivals such as South by Southwest in the
Mm-hmm.
States, Rewire Festival in the Netherlands,
Wow.
and Sinnoh Biennale in Canada, and so on.
Ah, that's wonderful. And
Thank
since
you.
our listeners might not be familiar with instruments, could you tell us a bit about the Daegeum for our listeners who might not be familiar with it?
Oh yeah, for sure. So Daegeum is the largest Korean wind instrument, and it has a special feature called Cheong, which
Mm-hmm.
is a really, really, really thin membrane that
Mm-hmm.
makes a buzzing timbre, which
Mm-hmm.
produces unique sound.
Mm-hmm.
And I also play Sogum.
Mm-hmm.
Is like a piccolo. It has one higher octave than the daegeum.
Oh.
So these two instruments are both traditional Korean wind instruments made of bamboo,
Mm-hmm.
and they were used both in court music as well
Mm-hmm.
as folk music. So basically, both common man as well as the elites or aristocrats enjoyed this instrument.
That's so fascinating. Can you tell us how you first discovered the Daegum and what drew you to it?
Actually, my first connection to traditional music
Mm-hmm.
was, I think, around 8 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Not sure.
8 years
Yeah.
old.
When I held my mom's hand and enrolled in a local tanso class. Tanso
Mm-hmm.
is also one of the traditional music instrument.
Mm-hmm.
And afterwards, I naturally went on to art high school, university, and nowadays I'm undertaking doctorate.
Mm.
So as someone who majored in Daegeum, expressing something with my instrument
Mm-hmm.
was as natural as a Korean person speaking Korean. And after working as a performer for a long time, I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to create my own story through music. So I started creating them since 2020.
Ooh,
Yes.
that's great. That's such a beautiful story.
Thank you.
You've developed your own sounds over time, and what's really interesting is how you connected tradition with modern elements. How do you approach blending traditional music with modern sounds?
For me,
Mm-hmm.
tradition and modernity are not opposites. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like they live together.
Mm-hmm.
So I use traditional elements but place them in new sound world with electronics, noise, or contemporary context. And when I compose, I
Mm-hmm.
actually start with drawing. I draw shapes of images that come from my emotions or experiences what I had.
Mm-hmm.
Then after looking at the drawing, I search for the sounds that fit. Like sometimes I breathe a little bit differently or try new techniques and so on.
Mm-hmm.
So I keep experimenting until I find the sound that I really tells my story.
That's amazing. I love how you're keeping tradition alive while creating something new. Do you find it challenging to maintain tradition while experimenting?
Well, to be honest, my aim is not to preserve it perfectly, but
Mm-hmm.
to keep it alive by letting it change and communicate with the present.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, the hardest part, like for most artists,
Mm-hmm.
is practicing constantly every day. I practice for a certain amount of time every day before
Mm-hmm.
starting work, and I try to stick to this routine as much as possible. I don't know, this is really difficult
Yeah,
for
right.
me, to
I
be
agree
honest.
with that.
I think you totally agree with me, right?
Yeah. Right. Ooh, so then speaking of the sounds, the Daegeum itself is such a special instrument, I think. The Daegeum has a special sounds that feels both like calm down or like powerful. Can you demonstrate it a particular sound or technique that represent the Korean emotions or scenes?
So yes, and I had a lecture in Germany like
Mm-hmm.
last year, and I
Mm-hmm.
showed several traditional music to them, and then people really like sanjo.
Mm-hmm.
So sanjo is the most famous genre in Korean folk music,
Mm-hmm.
and it's usually played with the drummer.
Mm-hmm.
It usually starts slowly and gradually becomes faster, allowing
Mm-hmm.
the performers to express many emotions.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I would like to show you about the bird
Mm-hmm.
song in Sanjo.
Mm-hmm.
There are bird sounds in Daegum Sanjo which present birds, literally birds.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd like to play a short part to
Ooh.
show you guys.
Yay. That's incredible. Are there any special story or meanings behind the sounds you created?
So as I told you already,
Mm-hmm.
when I compose myself
Mm-hmm.
before I make music, I visualize my thought and experiences that fit the topic in word and pictures. For an
Mm-hmm.
example, one of my pieces called Verge of Dawn
Mm-hmm.
is like I wrote a song thinking about myself looking out the window next to my
Mm-hmm.
bed at
Mm-hmm.
dawn because in that time I couldn't sleep due to a
Mm-hmm.
lot of worries. Like
Oh.
this, my experiences, like my experiences and thoughts are contained in the music. So
Mm-hmm.
when I listen to my music again later, I feel
Mm-hmm.
like looking at a diary I wrote in the
Ah,
past, you know.
yeah.
So for this reason, I tend to find topics for songs mainly from my experiences and my daily
Mm-hmm.
life. I
Hmm.
create while remembering the emotions and feeling of that time.
Mm-hmm. That's good expressions, like a diary. Yeah, I
Yeah,
really
it's like
agree
a
with
music
that.
diary for me.
Uh-huh. Right, right, right. Wow, I love how expressive the dragon can be. And in some of your performances, I've
Mhm.
noted that you included moments of improvisations. How do you
Mm.
approach like improvisations in your performances?
So when I improvise, I
Mm-hmm.
simply try to listen closely to the
Mm-hmm.
other person's sound and
Mm-hmm.
elements and try to respond as if having a conversation through my instrument. Fortunately, all the
Mm-hmm.
musicians I played with were amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And we had such a wonderful time making music together,
Mm-hmm.
staying open and letting the music happen.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that sounds like such a freeing like process. How do your improvisations help you express emotions or stories in your music?
So improvisation allows me to explore emotions and stories in a very direct way.
Mm-hmm.
By exchanging ideas with the other musicians, I learn how they express themselves
Mm-hmm.
and how my own musical ideas are received. It also helps me discover new techniques and ways to express feelings I
Mm-hmm.
might not have planned beforehand.
Hmm. Right, right. I really agree with that. Oh,
Mhm.
so then let's move the other one. Your creativity has also taken you to stages around the world. How has performing internationally influenced your music?
So when I touring,
Mm-hmm.
I have met many different artists and
Mm-hmm.
seen how they live and make their music in their
Mm-hmm.
own way.
Right.
To be honest, I don't have one clear answer about this question, but
Mm-hmm.
I think all of these experiences slowly influenced by my music.
Mm-hmm. Right, right.
Oh, and I also learned that there are so many different music styles and
Mm-hmm.
audiences in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So the key point is I think it's really important to just follow yourself. Doing whatever you love is always the best, I guess.
Uh-huh. Right, right. That's right. And
Yeah.
I have another question for influence this one. What do you want foreigner audiences to feel or understand about Korean traditional music?
To be honest,
Mm-hmm.
I don't really have a specific expectation,
Uh-huh.
but as someone who plays traditional music, I
Mm-hmm.
just hope people enjoy it.
Right.
Because, like, when I listen to traditional music from other countries,
Mm-hmm.
even without any background knowledge,
Mm-hmm.
I've often felt it's just so beautiful. So
Right.
I think it would be wonderful if audiences could just enjoy our music in the same way, just
Mm-hmm.
as it is.
Yes, right. Actually, like I already told with my pansori player, but I think music is like the other language. Even though we are not understanding well, like which is you already said, like we don't have any knowledge about them. We don't know about actually like their culture. But when
Sure.
we heard their like song or we can feel it something, isn't it?
Yeah, we can tell like what they feel, what do they want to tell, and so
Yeah,
on.
right. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's so inspiring to hear how your music connect the people across in the cultures. Before we wrap up, I have just a couple more questions for you. For those
Mhm.
who wants to explore the Korean traditional music, where should they start?
What about start from Gugak Breeze?
Yes, exactly.
Yes, I
That's
think it's
correct.
really great start to be honest.
Right.
And I would recommend starting by watching lots of videos on
Mm-hmm.
YouTube, like as I said, Gugak Breeze and so
Mm-hmm.
on. Like
Mm-hmm.
if you find a musician you really like, check out
Mm-hmm.
their Instagram or personal website and reach
Right.
out. I
Mm-hmm.
think it's the great way to start. And
Mm-hmm.
also, if you want to learn the theory,
Mm-hmm.
then maybe the National Gugak Center website has
Mm-hmm.
useful resources. And
Right.
also, there are also a few books in English about Korean traditional music.
Hmm.
So visiting a library could be helpful too.
Mm-hmm. Don't forget your YouTube also.
Yeah, visit my YouTube as well.
Yay!
Always
And,
welcome.
and could you share a little about your upcoming projects or performances?
So right now I'm working on my next project, which is about butterflies.
Mm-hmm.
The word butterfly doesn't only describe a winged insect, but
Oh.
also carries the meaning of having butterflies, a sense
Mm-hmm.
of anxiety or fluttering excitement.
Mm-hmm.
So, in this sense, the
Mm-hmm.
butterfly represents the process of looking inward,
Mm-hmm.
finding my own wings, and learning to fly.
Mm-hmm.
Standing now at the threshold of my third album,
Mm-hmm.
after the first and second, I see the butterfly as both a reflection on the journey
Oh.
I've taken so far
Mm-hmm.
and a symbol of leaving the familiar behind to begin again in a new place. Yeah,
That's cool.
thank you.
Thank you so much, Dasom, for sharing your stories and the magic of the dragon with us today. Would you like to say a few words to our listeners before we close?
Oh, yes. Thank you so much for listening. And I really hope you guys enjoy. If you have any questions or just want to say hi, please feel free to reach me out. And thank you
Yeah.
to Gugak Breeze for giving me such a lovely time.
That was so lovely. Once again, thank you, Dasom, and thank you to everyone who turned into Gugak Breeze. See you in the next episode. Feel the breeze, feel the rhythm. See you next time.